What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the third album by Christian metal band Stryper. Basically, this product is called To Hell with the Devil, and it came out in the fall of 1986. So within Fair's about it here, then pitches about it. This is one of the highest. To Hell with the Devil is the highest selling Christian metal album of all time until POD's Satellite from 2001, which I reviewed way back in the day, 2016, as far as this first album. But it's excellent within these pitches as far as the product of it here. It kind of as far as like the product over here kind of having pitches like that. So some excellent top pairs getting towards this album, good pitches like that. This is a request by Larry the Batman fan as far as these first album. Want to get to this one within these aspects about it. Some good blistering top pairs. So paying attention towards it here. The aspect within this pair is this is pretty. This definitely has like the 80s glam and seedy kind of neon type sludge about it within some of the pitches. It's a good aspect within a lot of these flares, but it has some good calm places on top of that within some of the pitches. Paying attention to other type metal bands on here like Depeche Mode, Metallica, and Megadeth. Some of these type folks pitches like that. Also traces of Kiss and Guns N' Roses, some of the aspects with the tone. Despite the fact I don't know it's full band. I want to say Guns N' Roses actually didn't come out until like 87 with Appetite for Destruction as far as this first album, but it has similarities within those fashions. Maybe they had some singles out around this time. Was this kind of the pitch? Definitely a good aspect is that traditional kind of hair metal and glam metal, some of those type aspects, and neon metal, some of those particular type tones of like throughout the 80s pitch like that. This is just rooted in that particular context. It is very familiar type flavors with some of those type pitches about it. Pretty central type one. Yeah, this album's pretty. This album's simple and plain. It's going to get a 10 out of 10 within pitch like that. It's paying attention to the blistering type variety, the pitches behind it, some real excellent type ordeals. This did a pretty good solitary type job back in the 80s pitches like that. Apparently some of these, it's interesting within these pitches to kind of say that religious metal would kind of get on the fare of MTV pitch like that. Not to say like that within those pitches, but it's just kind of within the fare that started to become more differential later on. But within these pitches, as far as saying there were 3 singles off this album, and a number of these did pretty well, particularly saying that like Calling on You hit number 2 on like most requested videos back in those particular days. So within the pitch, as far as saying, so it's some good excellent products. Also the single Honestly was a song that hit number 3 on like the Billboard Hot 100. So it's interesting type pitches that it was that large of a song within those aspects as far as just like crossing over to that hit type glam factor pitch like that. So it's within the varieties. So yeah, this was the #1 Christian metal album until like the 2000s within those pitches, which was a good decade and a half as far as those first album. But it's excellent type pitches. This combines a number of type things. It kind of has some dungeon metal on here pitches like that, but it's kind of in a healthier. I really didn't notice the healthy type aspect amongst this album. In my opinion, this is just like this is just like getting a Guns N' Roses type album within those pitches. The same sort of similarities, same sort of cadence pitches like that. Just Kiss in the later years, same type aspects within the tone as far as these pitches gonna go. Probably some of those also type ones. I was trying to think of the band that Tommy Lee was in. It was Motley Crue and more. Also bands like Motley Crue and stuff pitches within. So this is good central type air. I need to get back to some 80s metal pitches like that. It's within the factor. But this does have like some particular pretty good commercial type aspects about it. So it's kind of within the pitch as far as saying this had some good appeal, but it was kind of the pitch that sold more than the normal amount as far as these pitches can happen. So it's within the variety as far as saying this the product getting towards some of these type factors really had the pitches as far as it's talking about getting traditional. I mean, it felt like this album within certain senses kind of was on par with like Master of Puppets, which came out around this time. Some of that pitches now. It's within the aspects as far as saying Master of Puppets may have sold more within those aspects, but it's kind of fair as far as saying this had a little bit more popularity in terms of like the commercial type factor of the way the singles kind of reached. So it's just kind of fair. Really, Master of Puppets really only had Battery and Master of Puppets as far as like the single type writing promotion kind of, but it's just the pitch for saying. So good type glam, just classic kind of 80s metal pitch like that. But yeah, to say 10 out of 10 signs that fares. Definitely the variety amongst this album just deals with the aspect of getting some commerce type songs. Has some good glam type factor like parking lot type noise, just like the aspect of like pretty good at like these particular romps that kind of happen when you think of Ozzy and like the Flying High Again type days, and then some of these type pitches of like paying attention to like the folk from Guns N' Roses, some of these type pitches with songs like Welcome to the Jungle and some of these type aspects. Other type songs like It's So Easy pitches like that, I'd say within those prices. Within the aspects, as far as saying, but the flair about it, there's some good hit excite factor about this album within the pitch behind it, just like that traditional type aspect of this. It's basically like getting a Megadeth album kind of within those pitches, like the commerce type ones for picking up pizzas and fairs like that. Since the pitches amongst the aspect of this kind of back and forth with the within some of these type varieties, just kind of in a more Vegas coded type aspect. So that would kind of be the aspect when talking about glam metal. So it's basically like just getting a glammed out kind of Megadeth album pitch like that. A number of these kind of feel like thrash in certain type senses, which is good accent pitches. But pay attention towards it here. So yeah, 3 singles off this product. Wikipedia does not list them as full bound, but it does kind of say about it within the article. So it's the pitch for us. But the 3 singles were Calling on You, Free, and Honestly. So I'm going to talk about these. So I'm going to talk about these pitches like that. Supposedly first single was Free. Now all of these were pretty large within the aspect like the Christian metal charts pitches like that. Elite. There was only one song that hit like the normal kind of Billboard Hot 100. I don't know about like the standard rock charts, but at least Free and Calling on You were top 2 singles in like the Christian metal charts. Free is the hitting type one. Free is like a nice commerce kind of 80s glam hit song. Free is like a nice commerce kind of 80s glam neon surf to get here pitches like that, just like Guns N' Roses and Kiss and stuff there. So it's like the mid 80s type fair, just parking lot kind of swag, I'd say here pitches like that, just good nice tune to hollow pitches like that, just figure out the glam factor, just paying attention to fairs like that. Affable type spit and conduct towards gals and folks as far as these pitches can happen, just pick up like some wings on top of that. So just the fair, whether wings out in the parking lot or just fairs like that amongst any type aspects, it's kind of like conduit type noise within some type pitches, but it's also kind of the fair. Some grand and revved up, kind of excellent time waste as far as these fairs go. So just in the pitch, just within that throwback type fashion, this feels ripped out of like Fast Times at Ridgemont High type aspects of those type pitches or other type ones, paying attention to like vibes out of like Terminator or something like that. Some of those particular type ones, the first one from the 80s pitch like that, some of stuff right. But just within those pitches, as far as talking about acid wash jeans and some stuff, acid and tone good pitch about it. But it's the fair as far as those pitches kind of go. Calling on You is another single off the sound good pitch like that. It's like a good hair in the wind kind of kiss like radio grab to get here pitch like that. Just kind of a sludgy surf, I'd say. Some of these type aspects, it's kind of some pleasant commerce. This one's a little bit more in motion compared to like the more parking lot kind of stationary or free pitch like that. But it's also both Free and Calling on You are just good bravado type ones for just like a good basic step along within some stuff there as far as the pitch kind of happens, just with like the drifting as far as those pitches kind of happen. But it's just kind of pitch of just quality blase as far as those first kind of in a glam type sense. So the accent within pitch as far as paying attention towards it, but it's not so much blase as if like the fair, just kind of the gripe of it and pitch like that. It's the variety as far as saying just a good sparky type flair, just kind of the pitch of like feels like traditional kind of 80s hero pitches like that out of like a standard city fair type aspect, like not so much Back to the Future, but probably more within the variety of like I would say maybe Big Trouble in Little China or particular like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, or also like probably I would say Mad Max good fairs like that. Since well, I'd say like the Bustle of Gremlins, but just not as kid-centric pitches like that. But just the variety as far as saying this within aspect, probably talking like Big Trouble in Little China pitches like that. Just some of that particular just city glam type factor amongst it, but it's kind of fair just within a Vegas type sense pitches like that. Third single, Honestly. Surprisingly, this is not the most popular song off this album according to Spotify, despite the fact that it hit. It was a top 25 single on the Billboard 100. Honestly, it's like a rainy kind of 80s kind of window pane, kind of softcore satin speak, and accommodates kind of get here pitches like that. So it's kind of fair. The obvious choice for like a bell fit on here pitches like that, but there is another one within some type aspects on top of that, which is All of Me as far as this first guy. But it's kind of pitch it is more homebound type aspects. It's kind of the way Ozzy would kind of have like some of these type ones, like a later the way Ozzy would kind of do on like the second or third single, something that pitches, especially off of like not Diary of a Madman and Bark at the Moon, something that pitches within those aspects within the pitch as far as saying it's good kind of rainy day kind of wind down pitches like that, good nice fair to smoke a zag pitches like that, just to say within the products of it, just have rom-coms on since that pitch within the fair, just good pitches like that. Definitely feels like an 80s kind of credit song within those type pitches, I would say about Honestly within those fairs. Just real nice, slow it down, just kind of within those same type pitches. It's actually the fair that a lot of these particular type songs tended to do better than like the more heavy set type ones within these pitches. Like when you think of a song like You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC pitches like that, that was actually a more popular song than some of those type ones like Back in Black, some of those type pitches. Back in Black's pretty ubiquitous, but just within the fairs, it is pretty good follow-up within those pitches. You Shook Me All Night Long pitch like that. Some of those type varieties, Ozzy had like one of those type songs, forget the name of it is full bound, but it was off like I think his 91 album, and he had like a couple of those also on like Bark at the Moon, and then like Diary of a Madman pitch like that was within those bodies for us saying paying attention towards it. So just good clean kind of honestly it's just a good clean kind of radio grab, just a vanilla type tune within pitch like that, but just kind of the fair, just like that particular, just kind of something that you'd see in like it's like the credits rolling like a 80s kind of just tear jerk kind of movie pitch like that. Some stuff right with good excellent pitches. To Hell with the Devil is the most popular song according to Spotify pitch like that. This is the title track to the album. Some of these type fairs. This would seemingly more or less be another one that probably got airplay pitches like that. Some good type varieties. I probably would question the fair that it probably did within these pitches, but it's good excellent products. It's like some excellent hair metal and 80s kind of romp type tune to get within these products here. It's like an Aussie style kind of scene return, I'd say, when you think of songs like Flying High Again and some of these type ones Over the Mountain pitches like that. It's this good song for some flight as far as these first guys. So just kind of back on the scene fairs like that, getting towards the crunk typeness, just aspects like that, some type varieties. Kind of the way that Blink 182 would do like those romping type songs just within the neighborhood type rounds. So just stomping within like the neighborhood type rounds, like all the small things and What's My Age Again pitch like that. So that one's just without the punk type sense, a little bit more within the facet of this glam type factor and the seediness within it. It's just kind of fair. Good stomping grounds, throw your weight around a little bit, send that products within the tone as far as these pitch kind of happen. Figure out where the folks are at, make some next moves for these pitch kind of beeline for like a getting towards the product of beelining for like some night venue typeness pitches like that. So it's kind of within fair. The product kind of on it here within these pitches has more within the aspect of like the transit of getting towards the product, but there are some ones like sing along song in particular. Like there's another one on here I'm trying to find with the at least sing along song kind of within these pitches has like the variety as far as paying attention, like the being at the venue spot and some of these pitches. Kind of fair in terms of house party type noise. It's kind of the pitch. It's kind of the product that the stationing kind of happens amongst it within sensitive products, but it does that within like a Vegas type style. So it's pitches like that as far as paying attention, good type aspects. Speaking of sing-along songs, the hitting type ones, like a good 80s kind of Depeche Mode and new wave kind of nightclub jive to get here, pitch like that, run up the bay tab, pitches like that. Within those type varieties, probably more things like Zimas or some, I think those were around back in the 80s, some of those type pitches, but it's kind of fair getting some drinking gal systems since they're probably getting crunk as well. Definitely feeling alive as far as these pitches can happen, just paying attention towards it, just getting towards the product of it feels like it should be ripped out of Miami Vice soundtrack since the pitches within the product of it. It's a good thriving kind of loud pack as far as those pitches can have within the aspect of like some dance heaviness. So excellent pitch as far as those pitches can have. Definitely some vibes with like the pulse as far as those pitches can have. Some of those type. Definitely good spice about it. All of Me is a hitting type one. This is a good combo with, honestly, I'd say here, pitches like that. It's like a window pane kind of radio dredge to get within Sunset Products. Just a dope, soggy kind of ballad, I'd say. Kind of within the aspect of just what's next type mode, Sunset pitch. So just kind of brewing Sunset aspects in the tone, kind of within the fair about it. Kind of within conduit type mode, just kind of within pitch. It just like softcore kind of after hours pitches like that. Some of the stuff there. It's kind of a slow jam type song pitches like that. Also works to like a pretty good slow dance type there within some stuff aspects. It's kind of the product of just some of those type ones where the balloons from like the night appeal are starting to run out of helium pitches like that. Some stuff there. Some pitches first. It's just like the wind down type factor kind of being amongst the good fairs like that. But it's kind of within the pitch of some of those type products about it. Works is pretty good. Another single, I think it would have been within the pitch as far as saying that they already had a song like this within Sunstep Varieties, but it's the excellent type products of getting like a follow up within Sunstep pitch as far as just like the particular fare of like some rainy kind of makeshift brisk along as far as these first kind of excellent type pitches within the fare about it. Rockin' the World's a hitting type ones, like a pacey kind of Megadeth style kind of glam Arendine and hustle within these pitches about it. Just get shit done, kind of have donuts long and get shit done, have donuts along with it as far as these press games. So this one the pitch, keeping it interesting within Science Affair is kind of the aspect. It's good. It's interesting to kind of get like a glam metal type song within the project, just like the muscle type grip of some of the day fare within these pitches, but it does it. Not gonna say within these pitches, it does it within like the Vegas type aspect as far as like this the particular tone of just like the particular neon typeness. So just a Vegas infused kind of Megadeth type song pitch like that. Some stuff once, like when you think of Anarchy in the UK, which hadn't quite come out yet within these pitches, but it's kind of the fair as far as saying pitches. Some of those type ones. Megadeth is pretty good, like those particular type ones. Gave me a lot of vibes when I think of 80s Megadeth. Some stuff there is at least Rust in Peace and like So Far So Good So What. Some stuff there is kind of pitches, paying attention to some of those type ones. Just when you pick up like a Domino's pizza, just kind of being en route and miss like the fairs that just like dungeon and house party type realms kind of pitch as far as saying Rock in the World kind of has those aspects about it, just kind of within a more popular type fair, just more within the aspect of like the larger type Miami type place and stuff pitches, but just kind of the product of this utility type runs, get some day product taken care of just in a more later shift kind of 7 o'clock p.m. type fashion, especially in the summertime pitch like that. So stuff fairs, but yeah, just have donuts kind of keep the fair of it interesting, not to be as full bound sober as a gopher now, not to drink and drive, but just the pitch as far as just having some of these type pitches along, get some drink type factor later on within these aspects once it's taken care of, in terms of product of it. Holding On is a nice one off this album as well. It's like a post-hour glam outing noise to get here within these products. This dredgy but neon kind of day. It's like a dredgy but neon kind of day, I'd say, within these pitches. Grab McDonald's kind of in the Vegas type style pitches like that. So it's kind of a deflating type song, not so much deflating in terms of like the quality of it, but just kind of pitch it just more or less the winded type aspect from the day, not like the tiredness is pulled by, but just kind of pitch it just the fatigue of just like the positive fatigue of like the day fair being taken care of, pitch like that, just kind of coasting along some of these type products and figuring out like the next modes. It's kind of like the gulag type fashion, some of those type ones where those pitches kind of happen. It's kind of in a more Vegas type style. So it's this kind of pitch, just some of those type places where it would be places like Reno and pitches like that, Sunset Fairs, Nevada, and a bunch of places out there. Just some of these type aspects. Los Angeles probably to throw in Sunset Aspect, just a ton of this. Grab them like a McDouble and Sunset Aspect, just the way that those tones can happen. It's kind of basic type fare in a glamorous type sense, so it's excellent type pitch, but it's kind of factor, just that particular spice factor. It's good type pitches, kind of paying attention to some of those throwback type vibes, kind of getting those aspects. It's a good type pizzazz thing getting about McDonald's type fare when you pay attention to like the more neon type aspects of like things like Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses. It's a good pitch about, but nice fare as far as those aspects can happen. I think there's a couple more songs more or less I haven't talked about on here, one of which would be The Way as far as these pitching albums. So The Way is like a gnarled kind of Metallica and Megadeth style kind of thrash type tune to get within these aspects. This Pizza Run, I definitely say here, just house party kind of back and forth. This within these pitches, pretty hot type song within these aspects about it. This is one that feels less glam, just kind of more within the traditional kind of Master of Puppets type style and pitches like that Megadeth from like the 80s, sunset pitches amongst it. So this kind of pitch as far as saying this simple type aspects, have some Dominos in the whip or pitches like that, just sitting route some of these type products, this pizza type runs, some of these type tones of this. More or less this neighborhood type fare, some of these type tones within it. Also probably picking up like good few zigzags or pitches like that to kind of keep the house partiness kind of getting crunk within these particular fares, but it's kind of the back and forth within these sprays, in and out the house more than a few times within these pitches, kind of the standard product it is. Live and kind of outing carnage pitch like that, so it's a good type tune, but yeah, definitely a hot type one. This is a good return type fact about this one. It's probably one I would, when I purchase this album down the road, this is going to be one I'm probably going to frequent a good few times. This is going to be one I'm going to frequent a good few times, pitches like that, since that ones are probably similar. Definitely probably say some other type ones would definitely be like, I'd probably say Holding On's pretty good for that. I do like Sing Along Song, that's a pretty good, nice one with like the Depeche Mode type styles. Some of these ballads do have like their appeal towards it, and To Hell with the Devil's a good, nice one as well within these aspects of kind of return flight, but definitely The Way is a good, nice one for that product. I think the last one I haven't talked about on here is More Than a Man as far as these pitch can happen. So More Than a Man's like a solid kind of post-hour makeshift and excitement to get within these products. Good pitches about it. This soiree on deck as far as these pairs going to happen. Stoke gallops and stuff there. It's just kind of be like, hey, this is going to pop off real nice. Get crunk with it as far as these pitches going to happen. Good, nice fair to smoke to some stuff aspects. Something kind of listen to get excellent primers kind of listen to get revved up. Pitches like that is kind of the thrills and the exhilaration as far as these pairs can happen. But definitely just the fair like some excellent kind of soirees on decks and stuff as far as just like, yep, it's time for some loud pack. Definitely get gal stoked. Tonight's going to be spicy pitches like that amongst things stuff amongst it. But yeah, get some smoke in your system kind of within these fairs. Now it's kind of within the products as far as saying paying attention towards it. The actual fair about it, with this being religious type metal pitch like that, it's not as if it doesn't have the smoke type factor and some drink type fair within the product, but it's a good type moments within the pitch. Most of this kind of has like the variety of this kind of more within the en route typeness of getting stationed, like I was saying, some of the stuff aspects was kind of pitch. There is some moments kind of throwing some smoke type fair on here, like I would say. Songs like The Way, songs like More Than a Man, songs like Particular To Hell with the Devil, songs that pitch is going to have like those particular tones about it, but it's kind of the pitch as far as saying it has a good amount of fair, just like the back and forth as far as just like the commerce. It's kind of like, this is pretty similar to Megadeth. This album is pretty similar to Megadeth and Guns N' Roses with like the consistency as far as talking about the way that the fair is going to happen, just with like the outing type fray and pitches like that. So it's kind of variety as far as saying just kind of the product, just kind of has a good sense of drive and bustle about it within the pitch as far as the fair is going to happen, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying that it has more. It definitely works for like some good kind of radio type appeal with glam kind of makeshift and pitches like that amongst things that fairs. So just like some radio type ones that you're going to hear just within like the dredge factor between like 3 and 6 p.m. or some of those type pitches within it. But if you don't have a lot of shit to do, it's just not as much within the commonplace of the affability kind of behind it. In terms of like more stationary type spots, pitches like that, it's the only real thing is just as far as saying, now there are some ones on here I do feel like these kind of transgress into dungeon type appeal pitches like that. I do feel like probably songs like To Hell with the Devil, definitely definitely sing-along song in certain senses more than a man. The way some of these type pitches within these varieties, some of these commerce type ones, Megadeth has that same aspect, but then as far as saying they work within the commonplace of getting like the R&D type fare as far as like pickups and pitches like that, getting like the red cups and some stuff aspects, a few bottles of Bacardi, some stuff aspects within the tone. It's kind of pitch as far as saying just depends on how the mode is like the fair kind of has, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying thrash kind of definitely gives me more vibes unless it's in a dungeon metal type setting, just with like the aspect as far as saying the product of kind of being more in motion. It's just kind of quicker within those tones as far as those pitch happen. So this is kind of like, this is not as much full bound thrash, but it has varieties of kind of being a cousin of it. It's more kind of coated with glam type metal, but it's probably glam thrash within these pitch as far as these pitch happen. So just the pitch as far as saying, but this kind of product definitely very visceral pitches like that. So just being able to say, but nonetheless, this album gets a 10 out of 10. So within these pitches, 10 out of 10 album. Social score gets a 10 out of 10 as well within these pitches as far as saying. So this is the product as far as talking about. It's just a good ravenous type factor, just getting out in the modes. Ravenous type factor, just getting out in the modes in like a neon type sense. So it's just kind of the pitch of getting like a Megadeth album, but just kind of within a more Las Vegas type style or Miami, just some of that seedy kind of 80s pink neon that you get within some stuff, right? So just basically just a religious kind of Miami Vice kind of metal album within some stuff pitch as far as these first album. Now it's not as full bound. Obviously the thing with Miami Vice is that had more within the aspect of talking about more pastel and this kind of summer surfs and yacht type fair pitch like that, but it's kind of variety as far as saying just the factor kind of it is just amidst like the fray of just probably some of those type of varieties that you would think ripped out of like that particular variety, just more in like a Sin City type fashion. So this kind of pitch is very aspect with the way those tones can happen. It's kind of fair. The R&D is real nice, consistent on here. Get some pizza in your system. Definitely the Dominos runs are pretty excellent. So this type fair is just kind of just real, it's glamorous, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying it's the aspect that you may find yourself wanting more dance club type songs, kind of sit a spell and pitches like that, get to mingle and pitches some of these type varieties amongst them. But other than that, it's whopping with these pitches. So it's still going to get 10 social, but it's the pitch as far as saying something to keep in mind. But the aspect within these tones, so yeah, within the aspect, in terms of the future, Stryper have at least dropped an album up to 2024 within these aspects. So some blistering type errors. They have been back as far as like the 80s within those pitches. So it's good excellent products as far as these pitches down. But this is definitely a classic here, very worthwhile, like the product of one of the highest selling Christian metal albums of all time. Definitely would have to say within this pitch is very worthy towards it as far as this pitch kind of good, easy kind of classic, some 80s kind of dungeon, thrash metal and glam metal pitch like that. Just a pretty good whopping standout.